Studio Galaxy 473 in Confero. We back in town. This Saturday we encourage you to share our program. We encourage you to subscribe to our program. Remember, we are the new kid on block. And we have this program today, an agricultural program. And the topic is, the farmers are waiting. Show us the money. And the Galaxy Equalizers. And the Galaxy Equalizers. And the Galaxy Equalizers is going to address this issue. We have had a hurricane that have caused serious damage to the housing stock in Carriacou, and also a number of houses in St. Patrick's, St. Mark's, the northern part of Grenada, in addition to the tree crop farmers principally. The tree crop farmers, some of them definitely going to dead. And now the government has come up with an initiative. Their program was about providing $4,500 for farmers who have under 5 acres of land. And farmers who are over 5 acres of land, they will be given $9,000. Well, beggars are not choosers. The farmers say to the government, thank you. We didn't expect you to do nothing. So we welcome your initiative. And now the farmers are saying, show us the money. And together with Galaxy Equalizers, we have our brother Joshua with us here this morning.
Good morning.
To discuss this topic. The farmers are waiting. Show us the money.
Well, good morning to everybody at home, the Diaspora worldwide. I'm happy to be here sharing thoughts, views this morning. The agricultural program, as you know, is a non-political program. We basically are here to try and make a contribution to developing agriculture. Agriculture is very important. Now, as Mr. Pierre said, just following up from him, farmers are getting very antsy in terms of the expectation has been raised, and they're feeling a little bit deflated. Many farmers are calling and asking each other, including me, when we're going to get the money, because the money was supposed to be income support. Remember, the farmers, most of them don't have an income, especially the cocoa and nutmeg farmers, because all the crops and products are down on the ground. The cash crop farmers, same thing. It's going to take the cash crop farmers probably about 4 or 5 months to recover, because first they have to clear their land before they could start planting. And that's a challenge. So one of the things that, farmers have always complained about is a lack of sensitivity towards them. And right now they're feeling that, yes, you've made a commitment, a promise to assist us with income support, and you said it will be rolled out in the next 3 months. Now, it feels like a month or 6 weeks has gone, and farmers are not seeing any assistance, Remember, this assistance, it's supposed to be immediate, a reaction to what's happening. We can't, wait for 3 months and then give assistance. Farmers need the assistance now. I mean, when you have a disaster, the first thing you got to do is the response. What is the response for the disaster? What are the immediate needs? The immediate needs are food, shelter, and clothing. The farmer needs to buy food. He needs to have a shelter over his head. He needs clothes, and he needs to pay his existing bills and make arrangement with the institutions to somehow manage how to pay those bills. Now, it's not good enough. simply to make a promise. There may be good reasons why the money is not coming through. But what the government has done, most of the farming community welcome it, including myself. I thought it was, a great thing to do. It was done in a reasonable space of time, as an immediate response with the view that we'll get a medium term and a long term strategy how to rebuild the agricultural sector moving forward. But as I go around the farmers that I support, we all kind of look at each other with blank faces. Where's the money? Show me the money. The farmers need the money. It's not, a situation where there's an attitude that sometimes prevails in Grenada, which is, as your neighbor don't deserve any damn thing. Let him fight for himself. Let him fend for himself. And one of the things that we've challenged over the time that the program is going is the harshness that sometimes comes out from one brother to a next one to in terms of lifting each other up. So government, I know that the intention is good. I know the intention is noble. But farmers want to see the money. Show them the money. Show me the money. We need the money to pay the bills and to get going. Please, please, please show us the money. We need the money.
Yes, I think this have to be the carrion call to government. Government initiated a program, and it seems to me that it is clear. If you have 5 acres of land and under, you get $4,500. Above 5 acres of land, you get $9,000. This seems to be a one-off payment. We have been hearing that it's an income support or income or whatever, and the farmers are waiting. Remember, 2 months, I'm gone. I want the government to understand. There are some people in Grenada that live by what we call hand to mouth.
Including me.
When they go and sell the nutmegs, they make message. If cocoa is being bought this week, you harvest cocoa this week, the shopkeeper know that the farmer is picking cocoa, so you'll credit him something.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in Grenada that live like that.
Yes.
The government have to understand that any country in the world, that 80% of your people are directly or indirectly involved in agriculture are poor countries. So most of the farmers in Grenada have less than 5 acres of land.
Yes.
And as a result of that, they live hand to mouth. You don't have cocoa back pay again. We snatch that from the farmer. You have no nutmeg back pay again. You snatch that from the farmer. For the longest while, I have seen farmers going to the nutmeg pool to sell nutmeg, take the bus, and coming back home because they're not buying nutmeg today. They normally write this thing on the board in piece of chalk. In 2024, when the government themselves is doing everything in their power to abandon paper and deal with technology street, and a lot of the farmers are not very savvy where technology is concerned.
That's correct.
Some of the grandchildren and children is, but they are old. So children don't have much communication with these group of people. And it's been in the rum shop and know. Sometimes that is an ignoramus where technology is concerned, end up trying to help them. So they leave hand to mouth. So 2 months has passed.
Yes.
The farmer pop Freddy shop now. So if you say you're going to give them money and you roll out the plan, you take the bank account number. Just imagine a farmer go to an office and a clerical worker say, what is your bank account number? The farmer hands over his NIS ID card, his farmer's registration ID card, and he tried to remember his bank account number and hand it over to the clock. God help us that the clock write good thing and not a wrong number.
Yeah.
But now the farmer say you get the money in your bank account, not a check, The farmer is not given a check. So he could go by Kenny Larson or somebody and change it, And I like to call Kenny name because he's a big businessman, he's a politician and etc.
Yeah,
and he won't be angry with me.
Yeah, Kenny change in check, but we don't change check as well.
Well, yes, but I use practical.
Yeah.
So you have to go to the account and then you have to go in the bank. Come on.
Yeah.
Show us the money.
Show us the money. Yeah. And Mr. Pierre, if you remember, and I think there needs to be provision for this. I've heard about 6 or 7 farmers have passed away as well. Now, these farmers would have, given all the details to receive the money. They're gone, they departed us, whether it's by stress or whether it's related to burial or whether it's natural causes. Now, there need to be some provision for their family to get that money to keep going. Now, what we tend to do is when these things happen is to say, well,
thank God.
The man is dead. How we could pay me dead, But the family lives on. So I hope we don't take this kind of dogmatic view with this situation where, the farmer has been deceased and the family can't get access to the fund because the family still have the farm and they're still in need of support and to get the farm going. And having said that, Mr. Pierre, we've been very bad this morning. Our wonderful senator, his wife passed away a few days ago. I spoke to him very briefly on the phone. I called him to admonish him about some matter or the other. And he says, Josh, I said to him, how's the wife? He said, Josh, the wife passed away 2 days ago. I said, oh, God. I'm sorry.
And we extend our sympathy. And
absolutely.
That's one of the challenges of life. I always believe that we somewhat do not discuss death enough.
Yeah.
And when death takes place, it has devastating consequences.
Yeah.
The shock of it.
Yeah.
So our brother, we just wish you, let go and let God.
Yeah.
And hope that she's in heaven.
Yeah.
And if you're not certain, pray for her.
Yeah.
Pray for the repose of the souls.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you're a deacon or something like that as well, Mr. Pierre.
You want the church bundle? You want the church bundle? Me deacon? They say this Roma can't be deacon.
Yeah, anyway, Roderick, our heartfelt sympathy goes out to you. We wish you anything that we can do on a personal level. We're more than willing. It's a small kind of island. It's a small village. And even though sometimes we talk harshness, but, at this time, I want you to know that all of us are with you and willing to do whatever we can. I know in your time of grief, you've been attending certain meetings. I heard you attended the Poultry Farmers Association AGM or elections, etc. I was at another meeting that I thought I might see you, but it clashed with another meeting that you're in. So, God bless and stay well.
The government have to be more sensitive.
Yes,
that's the level of insensitivity. It doesn't make sense.
And the government representative at the extension office have to be careful and mindful that they don't become insensitive, because I've been at the office recently and the talk that I hear was very disturbing. What do these people, now that they hear they could get the money, all of them come in here? What do them? So that talk is unnecessary. Try and see how we could be sensitive to the farmer, to each other, to our neighbors, to our friends, to our children. This harshness that we have in this here island has to go. We live in such a picturesque, beautiful, panoramic island, and yet still we can be so harsh sometimes. Let that harshness go. It's time we let it go. Slavery finished about, 260 odd years ago. Let it go. This is a time where we need to support each other, get each other to come through in terms of whatever assistance we could give to the farmer. Once the farmer get the assistance, what people don't realize, it then has a spin-on effect in terms of kickstarting the rural economy. The farmers are going to buy some food, maybe buy clothes, buy school books, etc. It's going to have an impact. And why I was so much in favor of this initiative by the government is, I've seen when you make direct payments to people, the impact it has on their villages. And I've also seen when you have the aid agency come in and there's $100,000 in terms of aid, 70,000 goes on their vehicles and their accommodation and their food and whatever else, and then 30,000 goes to the village. That can't do nothing, So I consider it, very well thought through that the government has decided to make direct payments, because the direct payment will stimulate the local economy where the people are in, the farming community. And God knows that we're in St. Andrews need to be stimulated in terms of our economy, yet alone St. Mark's, St. Patrick's, and St. John's. We need that kind of policy and that kind of structure that will assist. We might be sound as though we're moaning and groaning this morning, but the theme for this morning is show us the money. The farmer want to see the money. Please, if anybody's listening out there, show the farmer the money.
And you can participate with Galaxy Equalizers. The number is 410-3030. The number is easy to remember, 410-3030. We encourage you to share the program. It's all about provoking discussion. It's all about provoking discussion. The government came up with a program to provide $5,000 for farmers with 5 acres of land and less, and $9,000 for farmers with more than acre. Maybe there are farmers who have alternative, additional source of income.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of our farmers are full-time farmers.
Yeah.
And they don't have any source of income.
Yeah.
They don't have any NIS.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have savings in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
They practically live from what they get from the land. They sell the nutmeg. You pass in the pools and you see how the farmers are there.
Yeah.
You pass in the cocoa association and you see the farmers line up to sell the cocoa. Sometimes them are the workers.
Mm-hmm.
They get a check, they pay the workers, and they go home.
Yeah.
Now, because of no fault of theirs,
Mm-hmm.
the hurricane Beryl came and provided some serious level of discomfort, disaster. Some of them is going to die no matter what you do.
Mm-hmm.
When a man watch all his nutmeg on the field, and the environment is, I wouldn't say hostile, but not very sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
The only program we have had so far is that program.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is best to let the farmers have the money. I spoke to a farmer and he was waiting for the extension officer to come. I said, no, in that stage, I think you just have to go to the office, give them your farmer's registration number. If the card is expired, bring it for them because they are the ones to
Extend.
to extend the expiry date on it. And they want your NIS registration number. Some farmers don't have a NIS registration number. Maybe you might have to go and take out one. And then you give them your account number for the bank.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people don't know their account number. So you might have to write it down and bring it for them, or bring the bank book for them to see the number. I don't know what. Sometimes when we finish strip the farmer, there is hardly thing any left.
Yeah.
We could appeal to people, try not to insult them. Some of them would say, some of the farmers who have discretionary income and who have additional source of income may not bother. And I guess those you wouldn't treat bad. You would treat them with great respect because they have some clout. They are Mr. This and Mr. That. But we want to appeal to you to understand the situation and be sensitive to them.
Yeah.
And we want to appeal to the Ministry of Agriculture. Provide information.
Yes.
Better you tell the farmer you're going to get the money in November.
Yes. Yes.
You'll get the money in January.
Good point.
But the worst thing to do is to have them in an abyss.
Yeah, just hanging on.
Just hanging on. And they cannot tell the people they owe, well, boys, give me a little thing and I'll get a money. I expect a money in November.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Some people is so dismissive, of the people they call poor in this country. They call them so-called vulnerable. Well, the farmers join the vulnerable group.
Yes.
The farmers of Grenada join the vulnerable group.
Yeah. And Mr. Pierre, I want to do a shout out to the diaspora because my mother was in Canada. She just got back to New York. And the first thing she said to me when she got back, I'm packing the barrel for you, yeah? Don't worry, I'll send in the barrel. And all of you in the diaspora who are in the process of sending the barrel, I thank the government again for the initiative. I thank our family abroad who are, working hard to send assistance to us here in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. I was speaking to one of the farmer about a week and a half ago that I support and I help because a lot of the farmers, in terms of administration and advocacy, they're not into that. They're into their farming, digging their hole, planting their plants, etc. And the minute they find that people talking stupidness to them, they don't call them back. So I tend to kind of say to them, listen, the bureaucracy is different. It's not personal. So I tend to kind of take up the kind of slack for them in terms of the liaison between the ministry and themselves. And whilst the farmer was on the phone and, talking to his son, he came up the phone, he said, oh, my son says he's going to send a little something to help us get going again, and he's going to send it. So all of you who are in the diaspora and you're supporting your family in Grenada or friends or whatever, I say all the blessings and the kudos to you because it's a time that, help and support is needed. We're coming up to the Christmas period. Christmas will be on us in no time whatsoever. It's going to be, a real kind of mixed Christmas for farmers because it's a challenging period for farmers at the moment and their families. And what a lot of people don't realize, a farmer might be supporting 10 to 20 people with his income on the farm. And, once that farmer has lost that income, everybody's looking at him in his family, what you going to do? So, without the diaspora, your family and my mother, I thank you all for the support that you give, that you continue to give. I thank the government for the concessions they give to the barrel. I think that's a great thing. I think all the country should be able to receive, barrels beyond Christmas, until maybe the 15th or the end of January, because it's at this time that we need to support the ordinary people. We quick always to support businesses and foreign direct investors. But one of the issues that was around in the last election is there's been little to no investment in terms of our greatest resources, and that's our people. So our people need all the support that they can get. And I can't say thank you enough to the diaspora for what they've been sending and what they've been giving to Carriacou, Petit Martinique, their Grenadian family, etc. I'm overwhelmed at their generosity and their kindness, and I thank them all. I know from talking to quite a few, they're all, trying to get barrels. I think at the moment in Brooklyn, there's a shortage of barrels. A lot of them can't get barrels. So thank you all, and keep the good work going. And to the farmers who are getting their land clear, keep going. Don't let little silly things kind of deter you from keeping going. I know in terms of my situation, I have a very good extension officer called Brendaline, and she spoke to me last week, and she said, Mr. Lewis, I'm going to send, the gang over to you, not this week, but next week, So next week, I hope that the guys who are clearing the land with their chainsaw, etc., will be with me for maybe a week and just clear the land, and then I could get onto the tractor and get plowing again and make a move. Because the worst thing you could do as a farmer now is to kind of feel that hopelessness and don't know what to do. As bad as it is, you have to have a plan. You have to harass the extension officer to get those people over to your land to help you clear your land and get going again. Because I know, over the years, we've had food in Grenada, and you guys have supplied the food to the hotels, to the market, to the street vendors, etc. And I don't believe for 1 minute what these people try to do in terms of divide and rule us and conquer us, especially some of the hotels that say we can't produce our food. We can, we have been, and the evidence is there. The only reason that this kind of talk comes up is because they want to divide and conquer us. They want to make sure that they could import their food at a 40% discount, and then they've received all the kind of benefits in terms of the CBI, and the farmer is at the bottom of the ladder being blamed for not being able to produce food. Farmers, you've been producing, get up, get going again. We will produce again. We will overcome. I don't know where the phrase come from, but I know it was in America. But we will build back better.
Yes, I just speak about the diaspora. One of the things I say to people is that the diaspora is a very powerful body. Mm-hmm. And this present government seems to set a lot of store in them. So they could lobby the government. Mm-hmm. They could lobby the government to make the policy clear. Mm-hmm. Because it's what the government planned to do that could serve as an inspiration for the farmer. Mm-hmm. If you say you're going to give them money, give them the money. Mm-hmm. If you don't know when you will give them the money, tell them. Mm-hmm. If you have an idea when, tell them. Mm-hmm. It's better you tell them in January and they get it in December. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But just in a manner in which you're functioning. Mm-hmm. And some farmers is waiting. Some farmers will always take the initiative. They understand the bureaucracy. They understand how it works. Mm-hmm. But some might say Zafe. Mm-hmm. And that is what you don't want in the country. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Already, a large percentage of our lands are cultivated with bamboo, bocano, balijé, Mexican creeper, acarolita, and vine.
Yeah.
And the government have to be aware of that.
Yeah.
Now, we in the rainy season. So we expect September, October, November normally be the wettest month. If there is nothing planted during the rainy season or very little planting back, then when the dry season come, you wait again till June 25 for the season. And most of the farmers don't have irrigation.
Mm-hmm.
That is the reality.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we could put it as nice as possible. That is the reality.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why it's so important for the government to know what they're about.
Yeah, and Mr. Pierre, you've hammered home over and over in terms of this program the need to have a family approach to agriculture and need to take sensible approach. And I think, it's worth reiterating that we have to get the family, the children involved, not only from a family-centered perspective, but from a school perspective. If we are going to climb out of this hole, that approach has to be heeded, and we have to move forward with that because, there are things that we need to turn our minds to now after Beryl. As you've said, sometimes when this disaster comes, it's an opportunity to build back better, to do things better, to clear out the old and bring in the new. And there is a need to bring in new technology into agriculture. And the easiest ones are like hydroponics. It's quite easy to learn hydroponics. Maybe, a week course will teach you the basics of hydroponics. 6 weeks course might make you an expert. But the things that we could do with the leafy vegetables with hydroponic is phenomenal. I spoke last week about an initiative that, I got invited to for leafy vegetables, and that's coming on stream. But there's also opportunities in terms of, I've seen where they've had poultry in a pen, 2 layers, and at the bottom they've had fishes. So the droppings and the fish food or the chicken feed has gone down to feed the fish. We don't always have to have somebody coming from abroad to do it for us. We could get the technical assistance and do it ourselves. We had this thing in St. Mark's where we had a shrimp farm, and the CBI investors came, they took all the money and they ran off to, I don't know, Belize or Colombia, wherever they went. And that project has just been a white elephant. We could do these things ourselves, in the Sea Moon area, a lot of flat land, and a lot of the land has been leased out to people who, was around in Gary days, people who are very influential. They were given the land. That needs to be looked at again, and the land needs to be shared out and leased out in a more equitable way to people who are in genuine needs, not people who are just in the know. So we can do a lot of things ourselves, and we need to. I think if people are waiting for somebody to encourage them, and a lot of people put everything on the ministry or the ministry. Well, the evidence shows that the ministry is on the strain itself and it can't do it. So we have to do it
If the ministry can do it, who will do it?
Yeah, well, we have to kind of create those kind of entrepreneurs. We have to fill the void ourselves. Mr. P, I'm not sure how much time we have left, but I attended a meeting on Thursday just gone, and it was a meeting in terms of providing assistance to Grenada as a result of Beryl. I'm not sure how much time we have left. 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah, you have. We have some.
We have time? Okay.
We have about 10.
I want to share with our audience.
Go right ahead.
In terms of the meeting. The meeting was brought about by our ambassador in Brussels. in Brussels, the EU. Those of you who are aware, Brussels it tends to be where the EU does its business from. Now, the Grenadian ambassador to the EU has brought a delegation to Grenada to do a bit of fact finding with the view of getting some aid and assistance to Grenada with the view of building back better. Now, we had hoped that we would have the details for you on a laptop, but it didn't work out. And I don't have my glasses, but I have some of the details on my.
You could just give us some pointers.
Yeah, I'll give you some pointers on my phone, bearing in mind I'm blind without my glasses.
You're old. You see better in the night.
Yeah. Anyway, the first point is to take stock of the extent of damage to farms, homes, infrastructure, sanitation systems, water, energy networks in Grenada. That's the first thing that they want to do. The second thing is to discuss with local stakeholder to understand the immediate needs and long-term recovery priorities. And that is important to me because what we tend to do is like we tend to put a plaster over the wound and we don't look how to correct it. It's very important that this first initiative that the government has done, that there is a medium plan being worked on and a long-term plan in terms of our recovery. The next point is to consolidate information for the immediate mobilization of technical and financial support to help communities rebuild, innovate, develop sustainable structures and transition to climate-friendly, green, and circular economy business models. Now, when I read that one, it triggered my mind because I'm working on something, and I have been working on this project for the past probably 8 years. I've been working on the poultry industry, and the two major processes are now complete, and we are going to have contract farmers. The first hatch with the commercial hatchery should be in the next 2 weeks, so people will be getting chicks. And I know one of the intention of the government and the private investor is to donate a number of their old chicks to a lot of farmers. So that is happening, and we as a nation, I think we import about almost 17 or 20 million pounds of chicken. And I think the cost for us is about 12 million US or 13 million US. Now, we have a real opportunity to do an import substitution program with that. But the smaller farmers who will be rearing chickens and giving it to the processing house, I had recommended when I was doing the research that they should do 3,000 birds to make it an economically viable business that could sustain them and their family. Now, they will need assistance in terms of building the pens and creating the infrastructure to supply the birds. So when those things happen, it's like half of the circular business model. Now, I'm sure I'm not speaking out of turn, but one of the things that we've been lobbying on for very strongly behind the scenes with government is that all state institutions should be using local poultry. Many would say they should be using all local meat, and I'm sure that will come in time. But I believe, I think, I hope that is almost at the end. I know a proposal was sent to cabinet for last Monday's meeting. I haven't heard whether it was passed or what has happened. So I'm hoping to get good news with that pretty soon. Somebody will call me and say, Josh, you know what you've been working on with all these guys from the ministry, it's going to be a reality. Once that has happened, the rural economy will get a kickstart, a boost. We will be circulating over $200 million in our local economy once we get up to that 80-90% local production.
But how much years do you think it'll take to do that?
I think it will take us about 3 to 4 years. I think what happens is once people start, because that is the hardest thing, a journey of 10,000 miles starts with one step. A lot of people have been very critical and would say to me, Josh, you have that thing of 40%. We could never do. I said the 40% was never meant to start with. You start with 5%, 10%, 15%, 30%, and you accelerate.
Because right now you have 40% of the market.
Yeah, we have 40% we could jump to overnight, but it's not going to happen overnight. And once that 40% is reached, I guarantee you we're going to hit 70% in no time. We're going to have a fully fledged market. But the point that excites me is this. We have a school feeding program with about, I think, 20,000 kids who eat from the school feeding program. And one of the recommendations that is in the policy is that we should change our menu to include local produce. So what I wanted them to do is, use eggs, at least have a menu that includes eggs. Give the children 3 eggs a week. Make other things with egg. If they can get up to 5 eggs that they use in a week, the difference that will make to our economy, our farmer, our children, because children need the protein, and eggs is what's known as a superfood with all the nutrition coming from it. And 60, if everybody eat an egg a day, that's 20,000 a day, that's 100,000 eggs a week, and it doesn't have to be all for breakfast. You could put it in different things, quiche and this and that. At the moment, our egg consumption from the last kind of data I did was about 80 eggs per person. The countries that eat a real lot of eggs, they're up to 520 eggs per person per year. We're only at 80 eggs per annum per person. So there's a long way to go. But sometimes the low-lying fruit is not sexy enough. We don't see it. But if we work together and make this a reality, school feeding, poultry, etc., it's something that we all could be proud of as playing a part. We use local chicken for barbecue. We sell local chicken in the supermarket. We create employment.
It's $10 now for a chicken leg for barbecue.
$10 now?
Yeah, I think it's $10 a chicken.
Yeah, no, we can bring that down. I mean, a chicken leg you're talking about the leg quarter?
No, well, normally whether you leg quarter or leg is $10.
Okay, because a leg quarter in terms of to sell from a farmer should not be more than $5, $5.
No, when they barbecue it.
When they barbecue it, well, they make 100% markup on it. That's slightly different, but I'm talking about going in the supermarket and buying a leg quarter.
So you believe that the prospect for us in poultry is exceptionally good?
It's exceptionally good.
And you also believe within the next 5 years, we will see the market.
We will see the result in the next year.
The process has started.
Yeah, the process has started. There's about 60 million investment on the ground in poultry already, Okay. It's just that what has been happening is that the investors are private people, and they haven't shouted about the investment that they've been making in poultry, and they want to do a lot of testing before they make a lot of noise. So, I'm very, very encouraged. If I were to pass away tomorrow, I know I had a little finger in the development of the poultry industry, and I'm very proud of that.
Let's go back as we race into the end of the time. Let's go back to the EU fact-finding mission.
Yes.
Now, when the EU reached here, the government of Grenada, the Ministry of Agriculture, should have already done the work and lobby the EU in terms of what they want.
Yeah.
Now, I know you always speak about corporation and tend to blame the multinational corporation.
Yeah. I'm not sure that I do that, but if I do, I apologize.
No, nothing is wrong with that. Somebody had to get blamed. but I'm always concerned about our lobbying skills.
Yes.
Because if you have the EU coming here to do fact finding,
Yeah.
we should have already done the fact finding
Yes.
and come up with the things that we want.
Yes.
And we're supposed to know what help we want from the EU. That is one of the big challenges in the Caribbean.
Yeah, and I believe we know, and I believe a lot of fact finding
Well,
has been done.
Well, if we know, what is the value?
Yeah, but I tell you what we're not good at, Mr. Pierre. We're not good at sharing information and collaborating with different branches of government and different things. So the EU has come in terms of doing their fact finding from Brussels, and it's been done and headed by the ambassador for Grenada in the EU. There's a fellow called Kennedy, I think, who's the local representative. He's at SGU.
He's from the veterinary department.
Yeah,
He's from agriculture.
Yeah, I think he's from health.
You see, that's one of the challenges we have in small islands.
Yeah, but
these small islands, you have to do your fact finding.
Yeah,
you have to know what you want.
Yeah.
And then you lobby people
Yeah.
to get what you to get the results.
But
once you send these people down here,
yeah. But let me give you a view from my.
And you only have 2 minutes to do it.
Yeah.
You run out of time.
Yeah, I'll give you a view. What it seems to have happened, in my view, is that people who are known to each other are involved in the program rather than the experts and the people who really are in the know. And I think that comes across when you listen to the ambassador and you listen to the consultant, is who their friends are. It's not that their friends are wrong to do, but I just felt that so much real expert was in the field and it hasn't been captured. But I hope, that, they're able to mobilize some resources for us. You talked about small ruminants, and I talked about fencing to them as well. I'm going to do a written submission because I know when you talk is cheap and it just goes over the head. So I promise you within the next week, I'll do a written submission to them in terms of the things we've been talking about, in terms of drip irrigation.
And time run fast. When you have this big EU meeting and then time run fast too.
Yeah, it does.
Yes, we are Galaxy Equalizers on the agriculture program. And the topic was farmers are waiting, show us the money.
Yeah, show us the money.
Farmers are waiting, show us the money. And we appeal to the authorities that be to be sensitive, to understand that the farmers, a lot of the farmers who have lost as a result of burial have joined the vulnerable group. Or if you want to call them the so-called vulnerable, they have no nutmeg and they join the group. So we want to beg you to be sensitive to the farmers and show us the money. And once again, we encourage you to share our program and subscribe to Studio Galaxy 473. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.